Let's fucking go, right? Sound check. All right, sweet. Kick ass. Let's do it. Hi, I'm back. I know it was kind of abrupt. Once the kids are ready, I'm like, I'm out. Went to the park, stopped by, got some diets, had a little, what was it? Spend $2, get a free drink. Got this little fucking mocha frap. It's okay. I'm balancing out with an egg sandwich. So some sugar and some cholesterol. Just fuck my shit all up, right? Mmm. I wanted to build the Travos, but I can't find the fourth stick, the fourth maple, cured maple stick branch or whatever. So because of that, as we await for the next Aurora, because that's kind of what I'm doing now. Before I leave to Bleak Inlet, I'm trying to do a few more trades with the trader. So that's like really the only thing that's really keeping me where I'm at. That and hopefully coming across the moose. The moose is vital, man. Hold on. The moose is life, like for real. You know, it would be so much easier if I could just pull chat out. I mean, if I do that, I guess. So, bear with me. I'm gonna get right back to the game. Just a second. Okay.
This pack is getting too heavy to carry.
Oh. What am I missing? Oh. Okay. Ooh, I've never made one of these before, so this is like big for me. I think I should. It's probably going to be 3 hours. Let's try to sneak in 4. Sweet. Oh, fucking perfect. Damn. I'm coming. Chill. Yeah, I'm here. Chill, bro.
You're back. I'm up for it.
Fuck, dude, this is. Brain freeze. Hold on. Oh. Oh my god. It's like. It's going away. Hold on. Oof. Bro. Fuck, if I do this, I'm gonna be stuck here for another few days just to get both of these. I'm only doing a little because it doesn't matter the number of things that I get from him. So it's just the number of trades that I do to get his trust up. At least that's what I've been told. So because that's how that works. Oh man. Hold on. I could. Oh, we got light. This is good. I can work a little longer. Work longer. Let's try another 5 hours.
You just lay down. Have a little sleep right
Can I do a little bit more? Oh yeah, okay. That's that.
I could eat anything right now.
Oh, wait, no. Wait. No, that's not it. Okay. Got my hopes up. Alright, let me... Hold on. Hold on. What is on me? Oh. Alright, let's see. Moose. Moose. No moose. Oh wait, it looks like there's a blizzard coming in. Like it's getting... Hold on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a... Yeah, it's getting... Okay, yeah, nothing's gonna be out. I thought it was just like a really stormy day, but no, it's a full-on blizzard. Alright. Oh, let me go back out. Hold on. Save.
kind of heavy.
Rancid fish, let's go. Fresh rabbit, let's go. That's all you gotta do, you just gotta cook it and it's all better. See? Cook it and it's all good to go. Let's see what else we got. There's a few things I want to take with. So cook. Ooh.
Something's gotta go.
Curious of how long it takes to prep this. All right. Just a few of these. A little bit of extra food. Kind of wasted the day, but that's because of that damn. What can I cook here? Yeah, we'll leave that alone. All right. Those. Oof. Hold on. Run, 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 run. Oh, I already had some. It's fine. Tidy up. You're back. Fuck yeah, I am. I'm addicted to this shit. Purely, like I ain't kidding. Like this game is a metric shit ton of fun to make. Like a lot. Yeah, big fan. But yeah, hung out with the kids, went to the park, had fun, blah blah blah, came home, made dinner, yada yada, and here I am now. One last thing, let's see. Alright, looking good so far. So right now I'm in the midst of making the bear skin or the bear hide bed. So I should be able to finish it tomorrow. Should I be able to get 5 hours in? Oh, I'll probably be able to get maybe 4. Yeah, But I should be able to finish it in the morning. So, what's happened since I've been on the damn? Let's see, there we go. I talked to the trader, so I'm gonna go do the trader stuff pretty soon. Probably once I'm done with this bed. Once I'm done building this bed, I'll go do the trader. I'll run to the island, do the trade, come back, talk to him, run back, pull whatever he delivered out. So yeah, you missed the beginning, but basically he called, the Aurora happened, he called in the radio, I placed an order for one stupid little thing. I'm gonna have to go drop some shit off. Yeah, it's a whole process. It's one of those things where it's like, it just is what it is, like, there's, I don't want to eat the cured meat, but I don't really have anything else on me at the time. I do have the meat that is curing, so I should be able to take some of that when I go. Yeah, so I'm just chilling, hanging out. Like, I really, like, I've been, like, the last few days I've been playing this, like, it's all been to get to Bleak Inlet, in which I could have left it, like, any time, but it's just, like, there's, like, a checklist of other things that I want to take care of first. So I've kind of just been mulling around. Let's see. Yeah, it's still going to be a few days before these are done, so... Like, I don't know if those will be ready by the time I leave, but I'm hoping, like, a day or two. Like I was hoping to do at least 2 trades, but it's probably just going to be this one, because I don't want to be here forever. Okay, we'll do it. Because I can always cancel in part of it, so I just, as long as I don't, like, I can't have my hunger meter go all the way down, because then I lose my buff, which lets me carry more shit. So... Are we going to finish? Or is it going to get too dark? Oh.
I could eat anything.
Very nice. Okay. 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left. Yeah, I just might as well just eat these because these are going to go bad. Like well before I leave here, so they're good road snacks because they're light. These are probably the best for what they weigh. Well, actually, technically these are, but they go bad. These don't go bad, cattail stocks, but these go bad pretty quickly. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm almost ready. Like, it's like I keep saying, like, oh, I'm about to leave. I've been saying that for fucking days now. Yeah, so I'm just using the base customization mode in the dark, so I'm just gonna look around. I know where I'm going. Oh, I did go outside, but there was... Fuck, hold on. I don't want to go out at night, though. Like, I don't know if I could actually successfully kill a moose at night.
Might have to drop some gear.
I don't even see it out here. I don't think it's here anyway. So pretty. Okay. Alright, that's fine. pastime for 3 hours. Should make me nice and tired, and then I'll go to sleep. And shouldn't burn through all of my calories. So going back on the topic of the esoteric world,
I could eat a
like
horse.
I'm beginning to believe like there's like so much more to reality than we care to know. You know, because the power, like I said, the powers that be, like there are certain like schools of thought that they just want to completely gatekeep from humanity. Like they just don't, like the powers that be do not want us to even fathom certain things as even being a possibility.
All I could think about.
Which is why it's like very easy to be like, oh well, you're crazy, you're nuts. It's like that's a conspiracy, or that's nonsense, or that's fantasy. It's like it's very easy to dismiss these things because you have entire systems that the world relies on. Okay. All right.
Wonder if I can drop any of this gear.
It's like I have not done like the last time that I did a save file and I had this as a base. Like throughout the time I was there, like I set up like trying to make it like a base, you know, like long term. I was moving things around. I was, you know, decorating as I went. This time I've kind of been not necessarily min-maxing. I've just kind of been well enough establishing myself. And I feel like this one little base here is set up in such a way to where I as long as I'm in Pleasant Valley, I feel like I do not need to worry about anything. And it's once like I have a base of operations that gets to that point, it's no longer as fun to be in that location anymore. It's like at that point, it's like okay, so I've kind of like set myself up for the time being. I think I'm ready to bounce. I think I'm ready to go enjoy something else. We're gonna finish it off. Quick little 5 minutes. Container deploy. Woo! What in the fuck? Oh, but it's fucking carrying the rifle with it. That's funny. So yeah, the goal here is to... The bed is the center of the room, and then I'll decorate the sides of it and all this shit. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to do with it just yet. But...
Too much
Barb's
stuff to
rifle.
carry.
Yeah, you go back. Go back. Fuck. It won't go back where it was. Shit. Alright, it's fine. We'll just... There we go. Okay. Alright. So, that's done. If I got a bunch of crap here, I'll just, you know, munch. There's still quite a few places that I haven't looted. How deep have you delved into the esoteric? So for me, it's mostly been theological stuff, like basically digging underneath the surface level of religious stuff. So kind of like, this is why like I use the phrase like I'm a Christian, but most people would not believe that I'm a Christian because like as time has gone on, like the Bible for so long made absolutely no sense to me. And it's like I figured it was filled with so much like just I felt like it kind of came off like the Odyssey or Paradise Lost or the Divine Comedy. It came off as like a grand form of poetry that rhymes with itself, that is self-referential, and you know, like that's kind of like the perception I had of the Bible for a long time. And so the only way that I could even have that faith was faith. But the problem is I have such an issue with just blind faith. I need something to go along with it. And so you would hope that the Bible would be that thing. But it just never was, which is why I went from being a Christian to being agnostic to being an atheist to then back to agnostic, and then through my journeys in these last couple of years and re-diving into this stuff, but with kind of a new lens, gone back to being a Christian. And that's because the reason the Bible made no sense to me is because the people trying to explain the Bible to me didn't understand the Bible. Okay? Because they were people that were only going off of blind faith. At any time a question or criticism or a thought would come to explain, not challenge, but explain, to make this shit make sense. Oh, just have faith, just have faith. And it's like, come on, man. So, without going into the huge long-winded thing, the reason why I say I'm a Christian, that most people don't believe that I'm a Christian, the easiest way to frame it is I'm an individual that follows the ministry of Christ. Now, the individual, the human person, Jesus Christ, or Isis, or whatever the Aramaic pronunciation of his name originally was, because we know that the names of the Bible were Anglified, right? When the Roman Catholic Church, when the Romans had taken over Christianity from what it originally was, which was more akin to Gnosticism, and the Romans took it over, and then you had the Catholic Church come up, the names within the Bible are Anglified. But we remember that these people were fucking Arabic, okay? They were Aramaic, they were Hebrew, they were Greeks as well. These people originally within the Bible spoke very different languages than... So this is a core thing that is very important that was never explained to me when I was going to church growing up. Like when I was in high school and stuff, and I was very, very active in the church. They kind of went along with the Anglified terminology within the Bible, but never informed us this is the modern day way that we say these things. That's not the original way. That's the thing. They never reflected back to any changes. They don't want to talk. They talk about the Bible as being what it is for all of time. So much so to make you think that it was always written in English. And that the only time it was written in the other language, which was Greek and Hebrew. Okay? Ignoring the fact that a large telling of the stories were done in different languages other than Hebrew, other than Greek. All right? So, Sumerian, Aramaic, ancient Persian, there's all these other languages of groups of people that had contributed over periods of time to write these books within the Bible. So understanding this stuff is huge for me. This just the history, the actual history of the written word within these books, it helps so much to better understand it. The problem is that as you start to do that, you have to then reflect backwards, because when you realize, wait a minute, this wasn't always in English. This wasn't always in this language or that language. It's it's been, it's from English to Latin to Greek, to Aramaic to Hebrew, to go back in time to all these different languages, and then you're trying to understand the actual original text, because naturally concepts, feelings, emotions, even nouns, adjectives, so much can get lost within translating from one to another. And the modern church does not want people to realize that, because then people will realize that the modern book that they're reading is a bastardization of what the original word was. And so then two things can happen. One, you have people that have a crisis of faith and then don't want to believe it anymore. And then you have people that will question it too much. And they're not so much questioning the Bible itself, they're questioning the people preaching the Bible. And to maintain hegemony, I always fuck that word up. To maintain hegemony of the religion, you need to maintain things being cohesive under a single hierarchy. In the moment that people start questioning the preachers of that, the hierarchy breaks down. So, that's why they always just say, just have faith. Don't question us. Don't question us. They don't say don't question us, don't question the Bible. But I'm questioning you to explain your telling of the Bible. Anyway, I went into this huge long-winded thing, right? So, I kind of have an interesting theory. Now, remember, I say this a lot. I only know what I do not know, and I don't know shit. Um, let me go kill something. I gotta go do this, hold on. Pretty sure it's water I need to give him as well. So I have like a weirdo,
Too heavy.
fantastical, like, I don't want to use the word theory, but let's use the word explanation, because I think that's a little, because even say theory would be me to propose something, right? But I'm still like connecting dots. So that's why it's barely even a theory, it's more so an idea that will eventually, with enough research, kind of like be a concrete enough to for me to be confident in calling it some sort of theory of our existence here on this plane, right? But I don't. It doesn't matter. It's like I could go into how I made the Bible finally actually make more sense if you want. It's not so much as it's long-winded, but it's kind of confusing. Well, I don't think it'd be as confusing to you because I've already done all the preamble. Yeah, like I've done a lot of the preamble. Like I've discussed how like oh, this is to help in case I get stuck out here in blizzards. So I tried to go through here one time in a blizzard. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go do this trade. I'm gonna drop this shit off. It's a blizzard, who cares? I can't see anything, but it's fine. I'll just walk straight from here. The problem is I didn't line myself up properly. I lined myself up with the side of the building. So when I left, I went this way. And then eventually, like, I started drifting, and then right in between the this mountain and the island over here, I just kept going straight, and that did not end well. I need... Give me something to kill. I need something to kill. But yeah, like, essentially with you, I've done the preamble. I've kind of done my shtick of, like, we don't believe so much of the world, and so many fucking small hat groups of people have fucking manipulated our history, have taken charge of our fucking education system and bastardized and manipulated everything, and yada, yada, yada. Like, I've kind of given, like, that stance from the beginning, so with that in mind, it could be understandable. The thing is a lot of these weirdo, wacko ideas, alright, whatever. I guess I'll just go fish for an hour or two. So, to answer your question, how deep have I delved into the esoteric? I don't want to say too deep, because it's mainly been kind of focused in one area. Because I'm still trying to make sense. There's a lot of things that, like, I'm trying to make sense of as far as concepts, and then also trying to, like, see, is this something that I could believe? You know, like, I still have a very hard time believing in ghosts, right? Not saying that I don't. With a lot of these other things, it kind of leads me more to believe in those things. But like I said, like, big picture, it's like an avalanche of information that I'm sifting through and trying to make sense of. But once again, it's like one of those things where, like, I guess I don't really talk about it too much. Well, for one, there's not really anyone I can talk to about it. But I feel like even within the circles online that I've looked at this stuff, it's a little much. So, prime example, I'm kind of I don't want to say how firm of a believer in this I am, but I would say that I am relatively confident in this idea that the book of Revelation already happened. Like, um, that like I'm pretty confident in that statement. And what we're seeing today is we are seeing the powers that be, the elite, like the Illuminati, the Freemasons, all that shit. Because all of that iconography is so present and clear in our world. It's like we've kind of gotten to the point where it's like, all right, yeah, this is a thing. It's not like, oh, it's like, no, like the Freemasons running the world 100%. That's confirmed. We're not at the part where, oh, you kidding me? All right. So anyway, I don't even know where I was.
I need to find food.
Really? Hey, there we go. I'm super smelly. So some wolves might smell me and come by. It's a good chance a bear. There was a bear here about a week ago. I killed it. I don't know if it respawned yet. That's where it sleeps, but during the day it goes on a patrol. So I'm not entirely sure where it's at right now. But the lines at the top, that's how smelly you are. So I'm at a 2 of 3. Oh, anyway, yeah, Book of Revelation shit. So I'm of the camp that the Book of Revelation already happened, that it was prophecy for the people around the time that Christ died. John got his vision when he was at Patmos. And we have proof that there's more proof and anecdotes and literature of the time written of the man, without saying the proper name, but Jesus Christ, Jesus of Nazareth, that individual was someone that exists, that was preaching throughout Galilee.
I'm gonna need to eat soon.
So in that region, during that period of time, there's more information that exists on that individual than there is for the person that was the emperor of Rome during the same time period. And then, not to mention, there's a famous Jewish scholar that left Judea and basically was a turncoat to the Romans. Ancient scholar that a lot of that period of time during the fall of Judea, where the Romans came and ransacked Jerusalem after the Jewish revolt and tore down the Second Temple. All of that information from a historical sense, we know. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. You gotta remember it's like a Hebrew name, so I wouldn't be able to pronounce it fucking anyway. But that scholar, confirmed, real person, through him we do get a lot of information about John the Baptist and multiples of the disciples, along with Jesus Christ. So it's not a question of did Jesus Christ exist as a human being on this planet. We have enough information from historical text to confirm, like, yeah, that's a thing. He was a person that existed. Okay, so there's a good portion, a nugget of truth that can help substantiate any of those questions, comments, concerns. Shit. Damn, I don't have a skillet with me. So, I think while I'm... Oh, I already had food. I forgot that I had food here. Well, don't mind if I do. So anyway, blah 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 blah. Right. So John at Patmos gets his revelation from Christ. Right. And the cool thing about the Book of Revelation, and the one thing that they've kind of maintained, because we've seen that throughout translations and different tellings and interpretations of the Bible, it's gone from one denomination to another. Over time, it's removed more and more of the spiritual from it. And what do I mean when I say that? I mean like the descriptions of angels, like biblically accurate angels, like just being like these, like these spiritual entities, and the ideas of like fasting, for example, was a big one. They took a lot of that stuff out. Talking about governments of the world being spiritually wicked, like things like that. Those elements have been removed out of the Bible over time. And once again, that's something that makes you like raise an eyebrow. It's like, well, why would they remove all this spiritual stuff? Like, doesn't seem, that's like part of the lore, right? Like, so that's kind of weird, you know? Oh, is it too windy? I'm gonna try it with this accelerant. Ah, shit, it's too windy. Fuck me. Okay, shit. Accelerant, mag. So, the vision that John gets from Christ is pretty badass, and we see Christ in a very spiritual light. We don't see him. How do we see him? Like, how am I supposed to describe this? Because the way that he's described is not like in the human form. He's described as if he would be seen in heaven, right? That's one way you could say it. Munch. Eat. Yep. Oh, crap. Alright. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. I know. Not a fan of this. So, I'm pretty sure I closed out the trade. I don't want to have to walk back down there. Okay, yay. Alright, I might as well since I'm here. I'll drink some coffee. Yeah. I'm like 99% sure I closed out the trade, but I don't want to have to walk all the way back just to realize that I didn't. Because then I'll get the fucking Aurora, but I won't, be able to progress the trade like I'm supposed to. Yep, locked. Okay, good. That was a waste of fucking 20 seconds. Oh! Well, that is kind of part of my idea. But I guess I can start from the beginning, okay? It's weird, I kind of Tarantino it because, yeah, the reason why I mentioned the Revelation part is because, that's the line of logic that by starting at the end, made me make more sense of the beginning. So, because I kind of noticed that over time with certain things going on in the world, certain things going on with Israel, certain things going on with evangelical Christians and kind of like how they want to like hearken in the end times and stuff. The idea was, and I'm going to get to the part where I talked about the beginning very, very quickly. I'm just going to give this little part. So the idea the idea that you're hesitant to call it here. Yeah, I'm going to get on that. So this is how I started, right? So by noticing these weird things, noticing these different denominations, and like, well, evangelicals love Israel, even though they're essentially the enemy, right? Like, so it just didn't make sense to me. And then also paying attention to like seeing which way the wind is blowing. It's like it would be easy to say as if we are living through the signs and the tellings of the Book of Revelation, right? And I thought that was interesting. It's like it's almost as if the powers that be, the people that rule the world, are trying to make us feel and to make us think that that is the truth. They want us to believe that we are living through prophecy. That is the grand deception, right? That is all part of the plan, to convince us of a lie, to convince us of something that we believe so deeply to be true, and that we start to see it around us, and that's how we fall for the trap, right? The end times are all about mass deception. And what is more of a mass deception than for us to think that we're living through the end times when that's not the actual case? So then I start going into like looking at the more heretical stuff, right? So the Book of Enoch, right? Some of the oldest texts in the Bible are heretical texts that aren't included in the Bible. But then you have things like the Book of Enoch, which is referenced in the Bible. So why do you have the books in the Bible that reference a heretical text? So wouldn't that also then be included? So that there's a lot of different ways that can be explained back and forth, whatever. But looking from the standpoint of people that believe in the book, believe in the faith, and believe that to be the true gospel of the world, why would you not also include the Book of Enoch? The Book of Enoch is filled with esoteric, spiritual, like otherworldly, like supernatural, just right? It is probably of all the even the heretical stuff that's written in the Bible, the Book of Enoch is just, it's like a completely different genre because it goes full force into just like the otherworldly and the spiritual in a way that by comparison the rest of the Bible doesn't, right? Because most of the Bible is written as a second telling of events that are to be written down as history. Okay. Now there's a lot of ideas that now this is going at the beginning, right? So let's say this. Now I don't even know if I even believe this, but I do think it's an interesting idea. It's interesting lore. That's one way we could put it, right? Because even entertaining these things does come off as rather I guess you could say blasphemous, right? So Book of Enoch is really big within the Gnostic Christian stuff, right? And as far as paper, as far as like the oldest original text, or as close to the original, the oldest copies of the Bible that we have are heretical texts that were found in the Nag Hammadi library in Egypt and the Deep Sea Scrolls. These were the oldest texts and or copies of texts for the Bible that we have. So once again, that's one of those things. It's like, because everything else has been lost to time, and all we have is copies and translations of copies, and we're so far removed from the actual, as close to the original written word, right? So here's the grand theory, right? Let's just put, like, because once again, I don't know 100% on this shit, but let's say that the Bible is far more accurate, but let's try to describe it in a way to have it be a little bit more meat on the bones, right? And we're gonna get weird with it. Hold on. Let me go sleep. Yeah, munch. Okay. Okay. So, one of two ways we could start off with it
I don't really think this matters too much, but it does change things quite a bit. So either the Abrahamic God is true, and so then we have all the Bible stuff, right? Or the more Gnostic version, which is the demiurge, which is the blind false creator, that is true. Essentially, that the God of the Old Testament is the great evil of the world, right? The actual creator of the material world has kept us within this prison. And there's a whole lot that I could go into on the Gnostic stuff, but it doesn't matter. So, but both tellings are essentially very similar. There's not really much of a difference whether it's Yahweh or whether it's the demiurge. The telling of the Old Testament is, for the most part, the same. It's just a different perspective of the deity, whether he is ultimately benevolent, adding in with this sense of poetry, or if he is this great grand evil that has trapped souls down here, right? So, first and foremost, both of them agree on one thing: the earth is flat. First and foremost. When the earth is created, it is suspended by pillars, and there's the dome of the firmament blocking off the heavens from the rest, right? Blah, 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 right? Once again, that's another thing that kind of can, people can argue back and forth about and laugh at each other for even, like, thinking of in the modern era. But for most of human history, a lot of cultures thought the earth was flat. Okay, so let's fast forward past creation, past the Garden of Eden. What we know with the believers of Yahweh, for Yeshua, Adonai, Elohim, God from the Christian Bible, Old Testament. We know that he is, it's very hierarchical. Right? It's very, I am God, and there is no other God but me. I am a jealous God. You will bow down before me, and as long as you do this, I will bless you. Right? And then there's the demiurge, which is kind of the same thing, which is why, it's like the same thing. It's just, that's why it's not too much to get into. Shit, do we have... Oh, I don't know if I think I missed the... All right. Bear with me. So let's fast forward to the fun part. So without going back and forth on the beginning, because there is some slight alterations with perspective as far as like the creation of man, Garden of Eden, and all that shit. Let's fast forward to the Book of Enoch stuff with the Watchers, right? Because this is kind of where my theory kind of really comes in. So give me a moment, because I'll chit chat about this for a moment. All right, so devil's in the details. So without getting too specific about how this came to be, you have the Watchers that come down, right? The Watchers come down from wherever the fuck, and the Watchers, these otherworldly angelic beings, these either they're angels sent before God, or they're aeons sent down from the Pleroma. So the Pleroma is the true reality. Let's imagine that if our reality, our material world, if this is the Matrix, the Pleroma is the true reality. This is the material world. The Pleroma, that's real life. That's, where everything is good, perfect, wonderful, everything. And the material world, we are essentially a prison for souls, right? A spiritual prison, wrapped within flesh. So you have the Watchers that come down. And when the Watchers come down, they're timeless entities, right? Whether they're angels, whether they're aeons, when they come to the material world, there's certain elements of the material world that a timeless being has a very hard time grasping, right? Where mankind, this is what we're born into. This is the flesh that we're a part of. This is all that we know. And this is the cyclical clock, right? This is time, experiencing the slowness of events one after another. And this is part where we can kind of throw in some of the more weird and interesting scientific stuff. So let's say that angelic beings, that aeons and stuff, are of the realm that they come from is not limited to the same progression of time that we have here. So we operate within the three-dimensional world and we experience the passage of time, right? One event after another. The measurement of the sequence from one event to another time. But if you're coming from a dimension beyond the material world, you don't have the same vantage point. If you're a fourth dimensional being, the beginning and the end are sequential in the fact that they've happened simultaneously, and every moment between life and death is infinite. Everything happens simultaneously all at once. There is no wanting, there is no waiting. Everything is instantaneous, but at the same time infinite, right? You're to even like fathom the progression of time is otherworldly to you, right? Because you come from a reality where time may not even be like a factor the way that it is for us. So when the Watchers came down, first thing that they noticed is that mankind, we got some sexy ass bitches, right? So now the Watchers are down on Earth, and they're like, damn, the daughters of men, these bitches are fucking fine, dude. And at the same time, they're like, fuck, we're down here watching these fuckers to make sure that, you know, they don't go crazy and fucking kill each other like Cain and Abel. This sucks, man. Like, we're these timeless entities. We don't really experience time in the same way that these fuckheads do. So here we are, and it's agony. Like time, the experience of the material world, time is pure fucking agony for them. Like you know, when you're a kid, every moment feels like an eternity. Think it's kind of like that. It's like just the time from sunrise to sundown from them must have felt like a fucking eon, right? Because it's like having to get used spending your entire waking reality, which is infinite, which is an unmeasurable amount of time, because time is not even a factor. To go from that to this is like, what the fuck, dude? So very, very quickly, they probably went fucking nuts, all right? So they're down in the material world, within material bodies, but they are these essential immortal beings, right? So while they're down here, let's say hypothetically at this point in time, the Earth is like what, maybe a 500, 600, 700 years old, in accordance with all of the events that we're talking biblically, not scientifically and of the secular world, from the vantage point of the biblical stuff, right? So the Watchers, they come down, they're like, holy shit, this is an eternity, this sucks, those bitches are fucking sexy. If we're gonna be down here and we're stuck down here, we might as well have some fun, right? So the Watchers kind of get together. They go up to the daughters of they go up to the they want the daughters of men, so they go to their fathers and they're like, yo, your daughters are fine as fuck. We want to take them as wives. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you the secrets of the universe. Metallurgy, alchemy, like you fucking name it, man. Demonology, like fuck, dude. We'll give you the keys of the kingdom, baby. We'll basically spell it out for you. We'll give you all of the answers of the material world, because the reality that they come from, when they look down in the material world, they're like, oh, I know everything. I mean, because they already know everything, to them it's like, yeah, well, that's no fun. But then once you're down here, you're like, fuck, man, now I'm bored. I might as well have a little bit of fun with this knowledge I got. But I want these bitches. And so, but there's a trade, though. And this is kind of where it gets a little bit more interesting with like the whole karmic cycles thing. Because it's like, hey, anything that you do has to be consensual. You can't just come and take the daughters, right? Because then, you know, the karmic cycles of the universe, whether that be God smiting you down or just the more unseen karmic cycles of the rhythms of the material world will fuck you up. Either way, this is something that they know. They know of the spiritual law of reality. So they can't just take what they want. So they have to convince. which is why they go to the fathers of the daughters of men and they're like, we'll give you the keys of the kingdom, baby. We'll give you all the answers. We'll teach you how to fucking make swords. We'll teach you how to harness the ether and build great kingdoms. We'll give it to you all. Just let us hook up with your daughters, man. Let us marry your daughters and have some fun with them. And people being people, man, they're like, you know what? You know what? You know what? Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. Bet, baby. Let's go. I want to be king of the world. So let's say there's 200 watchers and they convince 200 fathers of daughters to make this exchange. So they give them all the keys of the kingdom. They take their daughters, right? So then you have men that have unlocked the secrets of the universe, that have broken off into their own tribes and with their own people, like, hey, let's use this knowledge and start building kingdoms and forging steel and making crazy machinery and farms and all and whatever. Like, they use whatever they can with all this knowledge, right? And so then they start building kingdoms. Then the kingdoms start going to war with one another, right? Because now they have all this knowledge and it's all about supremacy, right? But then you have the Watchers. Well, all that craziness is going on where mankind is doing mankind shit and fucking each other up, which is our nature. Then you have the Watchers that are like, yo, man, let's get fucking nasty. And they start just doing all kinds of fucking nasty shit with their new wives. Well, their wives get pregnant. So here's the crazy thing. You have mortal flesh of the material world. We were born and eventually we die. Mating with the Watchers, who are eternal. So they have come down and they're here, but they're essentially immortal. So what's going to happen when mortal and immortal seed come together? Oh, that's where you get the Nephilim from. All right. So now we have the Nephilim. So mankind is doing its thing and they're fucking going to war because they have all this knowledge and they want one fucking king wants to be superior over another. Then you have the daughters that are getting these fucking abnormal, weirdo, wacko spiritual things in them, right? And so they're like half mortal, half immortal, like half Watcher, half fucking human, fucking hybrid, whatever the fuck. And so you can't have within that body a divine soul. Right? You can't have a soul from the divine. So what do? You get something else. As above, so below. So if we pan outside of the material world, and this is looking at it more Gnostically, you pan out of the material world, then you have the pleroma, and all that is good emanating, every thought, every emotion, every good, positive, good vibe, baby, good vibes. Every thing that could possibly ever be emanating from the monad and reverberating out into the waters of creation and echoing within the pleroma and then going off outward. What is the opposite of that? Every abstract abortion of thought, every ounce of fear, negativity, every vibration that could be seen in a negative, fearful sense, those low vibrations sink to the bottom. So, and this is kind of where it gets really, really weird. We get all the Lovecraftian ideas, the evil spirits, but they're down in the depths of reality, of the highest reality. They're down in the depths. No movement, no vibrations. There's nothing down there. High vibrations in the pleroma, as higher and higher as you get towards the monad, the one true unknowable God. And then down as above, so below, mere opposites, stillness, nothing. So the spirits that emanate down there emanate nothing. There's silence, there's stillness, there's nothing. The truest form of nothing that could be is down in the depths of the abyss, the void, the abyss, right? Those spirits, they finally have a body to go into. the Nephilim. So you can't have a soul go into a mortal Nephilim body. So these eldritch spirits from the deep abyss finally have something to latch onto. They can't latch onto mortal human flesh, but this divine flesh, this corrupted flesh, the Nephilim flesh inside these women, bam, they go in there. And the Nephilim just grow to gargantuan size, right? So they grow relatively quickly, okay? Because they're of eternal origin from the side of their fathers. But they cannot ultimately be killed because of their mortal side. So, and that's why these Nephilim, these giants, that's where they came to be. And the spirits of them were these eldritch beings from the depths of the abyss that latched on, right? And all they know is hunger. So think of like the mindset of like a zombie. You just eat, you eat, you eat, you desire, desire, desire. Because the eternity that they came from was an eternity of utter absence. Absence of warmth, absence of thought, absence of vibration. And now here they are in the material world, within bodies of flesh, of mortal flesh, of divine energies from their fathers. And they go nuts, and they grow. And so as they're growing, they have more kids. They rape, they pillage, they take, they eat, they devour, they cannibalize. Because they have this insatiable hunger. But because of their divine being, it's like that they can just keep taking and keep growing. And then, so they rape and pillage, so more of their offspring are born, and then ultimately, whether it be from the perspective of the demiurge or the perspective of Yahweh, holy fuck, at this point, the whole world is fucked. Because you have the groups of men that are fighting each other, which was bad enough, but now you have the Nephilim, which are these otherworldly beings that have now invaded the material world, that have like been able to fucking wreak havoc, okay? The Nephilim have completely fucking taken over the planet. So as if mankind wasn't doing it enough with their fucking information and stuff, oh my god, their information overload and them fucking like wrecking shop just on their own. Now you have the Nephilim coming in like these gargantuan fucking beings, like taller than skyscrapers, making humans seem like grasshoppers beneath them, just many cultures believe in giants. It's not just the Abrahamic faiths, okay? And this is kind of where things start getting connected. So once again, the devil's in the details, so I'm not going to break down too much what happens with the Watchers or whatever, right? But the flood eventually comes. Flood comes, the fountains of the deep, and then the windows of heaven are open, world floods, right? Kills the gargantuan Nephilim. But it doesn't kill the demigods that came after them, right? They're the children of the Nephilim. So obviously, think of it like this. You have the Watchers that fuck the daughters of men, right? They have the very first Nephilim offspring, the massive, massive giants that wreaked havoc on the planet. As they were growing and devouring, they too had children, who, as they were growing and devouring, also had children. So over time, you had more and more and more human influence on these offspring. So look at Goliath, a long descendant of Nephilim, right? But human enough to where he wasn't as gargantuan and whatever, right? Same with Gilgamesh. Same with Beowulf, not Beowulf himself, but the fucking weird demon chick, and she had a son. Whatever. Anyway, I'm not gonna. Different cultures all over the world have different gargantuan, gigantic kings or whatever, right? Over time. So now I'm going to start to use the Abrahamic faith post-flood to kind of explain every single other religion on the planet, to a degree. Okay. When the flood came and wiped out the Nephilim, right? That doesn't mean that everyone was gone. They want us to think that. But where did everyone on the surface was gone? They went underground. As the flood came through to destroy the surface of the world, those in power went underground. And this is more the tinfoil hat theory stuff, that I believe that the pyramids are essentially bunkers, because we've seen with like aerial radars. I can't remember the exact terminology of the type of radar that it is, but there's this radar technology where we can, from aerial radar, we can see really, really deep below ground. So underneath the Great Pyramids of Giza, there are these massive channels and voids that go very deep into the ground, and there's these huge voids. But they're like not like natural, like they're rectangular, right? There's like these rectangular giant rooms that are kilometers long and really, really wide underneath the Great Pyramids, right? And it's like, what is that? Well, if that is this giant void, LiDAR. So let's say something like that. So let's say, what could it be? Let's say that the pyramids of the world, which are all over the world, China, South America, Central America, fucking in Africa, all over. There's pyramids all over the fucking world, right? That's where these entities went after the flood, and they brought a bunch of people with them, right? They're slaves, right? Because these are the new kings of men, these giants, the ones that aren't like super 100% full Nephilim, they're descendants, right? Because they're wiped out with the flood at the top, so you have these god kings, these little g, that hide underground with a bunch of their slaves, right? The floods recede. Noah, and once again, the reason why I say the flood thing, and I wish I had it off the top of my head, but there are other cultures and other religions that also have a flood mythos, and they also have some sort of individual that crafted an ark, right? So it's not just stuck to the Abrahamic. I use the Abrahamic because it's what I know, but it can be tied into other religions with very, very similar stories. So, post-flood, you have, using the framework of Abraham, the Abrahamic religion, so you have Noah. So Noah, let's hypothetically say that of the people that survived, him and his family are the last of the pure blood human beings, right? The last of the descendants from Adam and Eve, which we were all descendants of Adam and Eve, but then the Nephilim came and kind of fucked everything up. And then hypothetically, this fucked up DNA, and while and the Watchers too, they know all kinds of, like, any information that we're learning now with computers and stuff and bioengineering, the fucking Watchers knew all of that shit too. Like, every scientific discovery that we're making, the Watchers fucking knew. So this also pairs into different mythologies from all over the world of different hybrid species. What if these hybrid species were actually a thing on the Earth at one point? And these hybrid species were like these experiments that were done by the elite, because much like look at the Epstein files, man. They were doing all sorts of kinds of weird fucking bioengineering hybrid nonsense, okay? Like, that's the thing. That's why I'm saying, like, this Epstein file stuff, it's such a big reveal that connects to just more than the surface level. Of course, be mad at all the weird sex crimes in it, but when you dig down in and you see the other stuff that Epstein and his buddies were like looking into and the stuff that they were doing, come on, man. Anyway, post flood, they leave the bunkers, right? They are now gods of whatever region that they're in. So the pyramids of Giza, built long before the flood. Okay, so when the flood came through and the flood was done, they came out from the pyramids, right? And so then there you have Pharaoh. And then for the Greeks, when they came back through, then you had their pantheon. And then when you had like the Oni in China, and then in Norse mythology, you have, like Odin, Loki, Thor, all that shit, that these were entities. They were god kings, right? For their regions. And then eventually, upon their death, it reverberated throughout history as folklore and legend and yada, yada, yada. And so I could keep going on and on with this, but I think that I am pushing each little section a bit too long with just me being flamboyant about it. But ultimately, the the Hebrews, that line of people going through their servitude of slavery and stuff, it kept the bloodline pure. While the rest of the world, over time, the kind of Nephilim blood kind of diluted itself within all of us. And you could argue, like, hey, like scientifically, what would the explanation for that be? Neanderthal DNA, which is something close to human DNA, but it's not human DNA because we're essentially different species. But at some point in time, we were able to mate with one another. So that's why so many of us have Neanderthal DNA in us. It's been completely diluted out to where it's just a very finite percentage that is within us. But and so then this is where this idea, there's a couple ideas that kind of blossom and stem from this. This is like that whole racial superiority thing, which nonsense there. But then you also have this idea of the chosen people. Well, what are the chosen people for? Well, the chosen people could easily be made for the coming of Christ. That over time, eventually, Christ will come down. So there's the Son of God from the Abrahamic vantage point, the Son of Yahweh, or from the Gnostic sense, the Son of the Monad coming down. Once again, still coming from God, right? So that whole chosen stuff is you're chosen as a people to be a pure bloodline so that when Christ does come to earth, he's not tainted by the blood of like the Watchers and stuff. Because you could argue, and this is where it gets a little see, this is the thing, because I'd have to explain all these other things, like parasites, for example. Parasites, viruses, like all these little things that affect us as people, all these genetic abnormalities that we have, these could be indicative signs of genetic manipulation from a long time ago. These could be signs of demonic entities that inhabit our world, where parasitic entities were not naturally here, but they are byproducts of when the Watchers tainted the hearts and minds of men with forbidden knowledge. Anyway, that's a lot. I kind of went into a lot of it. I'm gonna. I spent so much time just explaining this shit instead of playing. But yeah. I haven't I think that's like more of my long-winded way of explaining it. I did have it written down in my own poetic way to kind of make it make poetic sense, but that's kind of like my tinfoil hat way of explaining it. Like I say, there's a lot. There's even still more to add on top of it to kind of make little things make sense. But then that kind of goes back to the devil's in the details. So I think like having the idea matters more because as the idea is shared, other people can give me different, like me having the idea, sharing it with someone else that has a different perspective can take that idea and see what kind of meat on the bones can be put on it. If I'm too strict with the details, well, then that limits someone else's perspective of what they could add to it or nuance this, that, and the other. Because once again, this is just like kind of an over-encompassing theory, not even theory, it's an idea that I have to try to make sense of religious notion and history with the secular world that we live in today and to make both of them actually make sense. That's kind of where that's coming from. Now, in order for this to make sense, first and foremost, two things have to kind of be agreed upon. One, that there is a God. Devil's in the details about the specifics. So that's why just the fact that there is a God, that's the first one. Specifics don't worry about until fucking eventually later, whatever, right? The second is that the earth is flat. And that goes into the Taurus fields and like all this like other like seemingly pseudoscientific stuff that, I mean, we've seen like a lot of shit in the Epstein files. fuck, man. If it's like, let's think about it. Like, what sounds like more of a fun reality to live in? The fact like that this weird, wacko, nonsensical stuff could actually be somewhat closer to the truth of our reality, or that we are a lonely rock, insignificantly floating in space, and we are on this rock being ruled over by a bunch of sick, disgusting pedophiles that are greedier than all fuck and want nothing more than to subjugate every single person on the planet for their own selfish gain. I think I'm gonna go with the other one. That one, because at least with that one, it's got a badass, kick-ass story attached to it. With that, whereas with the Lonely Rock with the pedophiles, that it's like, what are we all doing at this point? Then why, like, what's the fucking point of any of it? What's the point of any of it at that point? Oh shit! Hold on. Anyway, thoughts, comments, concerns. I'll push it off to you. Okay, let's. That was a lot, even for me, and I know that I'm weird, wacky, all over the place. And you know, as much as cool as I think that is, and I think there might be some meat on the bones at some of it, it is probably like it's so crazy when you try to line it up with everything in the world that we have been indoctrinated and educated to believe. So, all right, I gotta kind of get my bearings and what's the game plan? I do need to wait for. Let me get some cloth. You're saying that God would give more meaning that if we were just isolated from any other intelligent life. Well, see, that's the thing. Even with like the whole flat Earth thing, that doesn't mean that we're necessarily alone in the universe. That doesn't mean like because for all like we don't like think of it. How far do we go out? You know, so there's a lot of different ideas of flat Earth. There's the very strict, staunch flat Earth from the ancient biblical stuff, where it basically ends at the ice wall, right? But then there are other ideas of the Earth being flat where it goes far beyond that, where you have the ice wall, which contains us, our little bubble, but there are other worlds outside of that. And in this like I said, it's another one of those things where like that means that the moon landing was faked, and you know SpaceX. It's Elon Musk also knows that the Earth is flat, and he's in on it. And they're basically using space travel to siphon tax dollars because all space agencies in the world can only generate money through tax revenue. So it just once again, this is one of those things that kind of spirals off into this other thing, but part of me doesn't necessarily feel that it spirals out. I feel like it's more connected, which is why I feel like this idea has meat, but like it's one of those things that kind of needs to be discussed and fleshed out. Like even with the way I'm describing it, I'm trying to describe it in a fun, lighthearted way as opposed to very rigorous. Like this is how it is. This is textbook. This is gospel. Like because I don't have the fucking answers, man. Oh, yeah, I need to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, alright, so if I'm gonna be getting prepared to leave, I need to take all this, I need to take all this. I think I can leave the acorns, because the acorns will eventually become coffee in the future. Because eventually in the game I will run out of coffee. I think I might bring the ptarmigan down with me because there's not any ptarmigans in Bleak Inlet. I can find more crow feathers. I'm gonna bring the dust and sulfur. Fire hardened arrows. Yeah, I'm gonna drop those as well. I'll keep the regular arrows. This is... It doesn't weigh a lot, but it's just cluttering my thing. I mean, I don't really use flares that often. I guess it wouldn't hurt to have them, though. They help get rid of, like, wolves and timber wolves, shit like that. Get rid of this one. I'll have 2 sewing kits. I'll find more. Not gonna need the woodworking tools, actually. Because I will find more woodworking tools in Bleak Inlet. I'll keep all the ammo I have on me. Whetstone, good. Rifle cleaning kit, good. It doesn't take up a ton of room, the arrowheads. Shit. How much is left in here? Wait, do they all weigh the same regardless of how much I've used? Oh, no, they... Okay, yeah, alright, so I'll keep that. I can render more fat as I go. Take the cooking pot. I'll probably find a skillet. If I find a skillet, cool. If not, oh well. I just noticed that the... I mean, you were saying that you would be appointed. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I guess that's more... Like, I guess that's more in the line. Here's the thing. Like, look back through human history, right? When you look at, like, space... and a lot of our space-related knowledge and information, look at the origin which it came from. It came from the Catholics. They came up with the heliocentric model. They came up with the globe. They came up with dark matter. They came up with black holes, you know. Like, all of these things tie back to the Catholic Church, right? And one of the things biblically that you're not supposed to do is alter the Bible, change the word of God, and if it's written in the Bible one way, but then you have a religious entity that is supposed to be rigored to that religion, then you're taking all this secular stuff, and once again, this could be one of those things that could be argued like, oh, well, they're just trying to make sense of the universe. It's like, they're just trying to make sense of the world of God and all of God's creation and all this shit, right? Could be argued. Could be argued. But, oh, fuck. Well, I guess I'm not leaving today. Alright, so I guess I'll come out and get these tonight, and I'll make my little pies. So I guess for now, I mean, I guess I can bring the hacksaw. It just weighs a lot. Oh, that's right. Fuck. That's right. Shit. Yeah, I gotta carry that damn mountain climbing gear. That's probably gonna be the biggest headache, is carrying that mountain climbing gear. I'll take you. Oh wow, that was quite a bit. Okay. Yeah, let's fill you up, baby. Let's fill you up. Okay. 7 arrows. I'll keep the charcoal. I am gonna want this though. I'll find wood on the... Oh. I'm gonna make a couple more band-aids. Bible also explicitly says that you're not supposed to study the stars and astrology. See, I am like still re-going through the Bible myself to make sense of a lot of shit. So that is most definitely something that I'm gonna have to double, triple check myself. But yeah, so the stars in astrology, that's essentially the clock, right? It's the giant clock that is before us that lets us know the coming and goings of the seasons and all that stuff. I think that looking at the heavens as a clock to mirror down the seasons and the passage of time, I feel like that is okay. But going so far as to like the zodiac stuff and the, you know, but yeah. So that's the thing. It's like we live in a reality where these things could be misconstrued, and it seems like that was very, very easily done. Very easily done, unfortunately. It's kind of how we got into this fucking mess. So that rock climbing gear is going to be 10 pounds. It's going to be quite a bit to carry. I don't really like. How much water do I have? Fuck. Okay, this is. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna drop. I don't want to. I feel like I'm gonna need the flares. To be honest with you, once I start getting near Timberwolves. Oh, this is like just choosing what I bring with me is fucking stressful. Let's get rid of that. I don't think I need tinder plugs anymore if I remember. My fire starting is... Yeah, I can start fires without tinder. So... Yeah, that saves a little bit. Yeah, I'll get more matches on the way. I can deal with this. Let's drop 3. Saving, like, just shaving off poundage, kilograms. I mean, I would really like to leave. Yeah, I can't. The point I was making is that it would not follow that our understanding of space is permanent from personal view, especially on the early. Accurately to the understanding that we have today. That's kind of like the big sticking point to a lot of this is what is it? Is that our understanding of everything in the world is predicated upon mutual understanding of certain concepts and systems. And those concepts and systems have been decided by the same group of people that are in the Epstein files. Like, that's, and it's like, if we don't trust them with a bunch of other things that they've had their hands in for making the world such a horrible state that it is, it goes to argue that it's also difficult to fully trust and believe in those very same systems that they've also had a hand in. Like, that's where, for me, it's like, it's such a mind fuck, which is why I'm playing the video game, trying not to think about all of it, because it really does, like, this, I'm telling you, this Epstein stuff really kind of, it's fucked up the mindset of a lot of people, for better or for worse. I do think it's cool that people that were a lot more secular are finally starting to entertain things that, like a lot of these things, a couple years ago, I wouldn't even bothered to even fathom as being anywhere near remotely like possible. Like, I would have just laughed at every little thing that I said. I would have thought it was the dumbest fucking thing in the world. And then now here I am. It's like I'm contemplating, you know? And I think ultimately that's kind of like the good that comes out of it, is that like you have more people kind of contemplating not just our reality as a whole, but like our place in the universe, man. Like, what does it all mean? You gotta remember, this is coming from a guy that loves sci-fi, that loves space stuff, loves, like, you know, all of that shit. So it's hard for me to even entertain this stuff. Like, not even like, it's hard. It's very difficult to entertain seriously. It's just as difficult to entertain just as fiction. You know, like it's that wild for me. But it's like we live in a world where everything is so topsy-turvy and fucked up and upside down and just doesn't make sense and is wildly unfair. So what do you mean? If our understanding of the cosmos today is similar to the ancient Vedic text, how does that relate to the elite's influence what we know? Okay, so let's take a look at the Epstein files, right? So aside from politicians and celebrities, there was another group of people that Epstein was very heavy-handed in. And once again, Epstein is doing nothing different than has been done throughout the course of human history with other elites that were doing similar things, like, you know, like satanic worship, Baal worship, and stuff like that. This is like the whole Rothschild stuff, right? All doing the same shit over the course of time. So one of the things that they all carried in common were the people that they gravitated, that they try to gravitate towards them, and would eventually manipulate, blackmail, bribe, etc. Politicians, people that were in like different tech sectors. So look at like John D. Rockefeller was in very tight with the Rockefellers, and that's how we got multiple things from Rockefeller. We got the American education system from Rockefeller. We got the pharmaceutical industry from Rockefeller. And that's why in America, so many pharmaceutical medications are derived from petroleum products, because you have all of this petroleum byproduct waste that you can't really do anything with. But with a little bit of scientific know-how, you can manipulate the molecules and put it here and there, and it can have these effects in the human body, and then bam. Now we have Western medicine, where the side effects are just as bad, if not worse, than the thing that's trying to treat you for. So, like, that's what I'm saying. And then, so what's the other group of people that I was alluding to? That is people in the education sector. People that are scientists. So, Albert Einstein, for example. The guy in the wheelchair, Hawking, okay? You go so far back in recorded human history of these elite groups, and you also had people like Galileo, okay? Isaac Newton. Like, all these people that the religious establishment were totally against them, but then finally accepted their stuff. It's all connected. It's all connected. And once again, that's a very hard thing to say, because I'm not saying that all of these things and these discoveries are fundamentally bullshit. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's funny how they're all connected back into these elite groups that try to control the masses. And one of the ways they control us is you have to have a monetary system, right? So centralized banks, interest, stuff like that, that's basically you have a class of slaves that are beholden to the monetary system. And within that monetary system, you can kind of gatekeep who enters different thresholds of different levels of wealth and status within that economy. And when you look, who is typically an enemy of any kind of monetary group, and that is people that don't want to adhere to the same monetary style. And that is why the Western world has been against the Muslim world for so long, because they don't have a centralized bank that can be controlled and manipulated with interest and built into the same economic system. That's why we went after Saddam. That's why we went after Gaddafi. You know, that's why we're going after Iran. You know, you look at all of the places the Western world is hit, Even going like different countries in Africa that got their, try to get their independence, try to push out Western influence. They wanted to have their own systems that weren't backed by the dollar, and these were places that we would routinely go and we would stage coups. Even in South America, we would stage coups. We would do regime changes. We would create political instability. We would create social upheaval within these regions that made them hellscapes to live in, and this was all intentional because they wouldn't adhere to the monetary system that was designed in such a way to be exploitative and have a slave class of people that, because they're beholden to a particular system, don't realize that they are in some form of slavery. Now, this isn't like your traditional slavery where you're chained up and forced to work, all that stuff. Like that's like the very stereotypical one, right? This is a monetary slavery. You're a debt slave. So probably poor choice of words, but grammatically it is a correct term of words. But poetically, maybe not. But oh, fuck me. I didn't even sleep in this yet. Now, I don't really get that many bonuses from it, but it's a cool fucking thing to have, man. I'm very proud of myself. I never built one. This entire time I've played this game for years, never built one of these. Hopefully I answered your question. I probably went off the rails. I always fucking do. I mean, I guess it's still a blizzard, right? All right, I'll leave tomorrow morning. And maybe tonight I'll be able to see if they're... Yeah. Let's research. Remember, take everything, 100% of everything I say with a grain of salt, because one, I'm mentally ill and batshit crazy, and I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about. So, this is just for entertainment purposes, and that's it. That's basically where I'm going with this. I could be 100% wrong about every little fucking thing, and I know that. I realize that. So there's that. Glug, 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 glug. Ultimately, what my message is fucking question everything. Like, that's the part of the timeline that we're on. But aside from my own fucking insanity and mental illness, how are you doing? What's going on in your world? Alright, so is it done now? Oh, it looks like crap out here. There's still no... Oh, you can't see shit out here. Okay. Ugh, this is... You heard that squeal? That was a wolf that was running away from me. Because it sensed me nearby with my damn jacket on. Let's see what we got. 81% cured. Oh, crap. Alright, 5 out. No, I'm not gonna be able to read the whole thing. Damn. Okay. Alright, well. Alright, well, let's eat some of the cured meat, I guess. It's supposed to last me the trip to Bleak Inlet. Hopefully it would be nice to get one more Aurora through, because I need to be able to go pick up that shit. You know, I just thought, like, fuck, man. I'm doing okay. Is there anything about the Philippine War you're streaming? More importantly, I tend to believe that belief itself is kind of an influence, especially if it causes placebo effect. Yeah? I mean, yeah, then there's like some of the other weird shit too. Like yeah, I've heard things of like we kind of like the mind has a way of making its own reality. But it's like if that were true, then we would that there's enough people that like believe in their own shit enough to where there would be some way more crazy shit in the world, you know? Fuck, how bad is it? Ugh. All right. Well, I guess hold on. Yeah, I still need to. I need to fucking talk to the dude, but he's still not fucking here. All right, it's fine. I'm not gonna worry about it. Well, hopefully the Aurora comes up. One of the reasons I say I believe is because it's hot. Because this move the telekinesis is real. Well, that's the thing, man. It's like, so it's another one of those things that I'm not like entirely sold on, but I don't necessarily entirely write it off at the same time. It's one of those. Like basically it boils down to one of those things where it's like I'm open enough to, as long as there's some sort of like evidence, you know. And that's the thing too. It's like all of this other weird wacko stuff. That's just me trying to connect dots through different religions throughout the course of human history, right? Is that evidence? You know, even like me sitting here, like, if I'm gonna like stand to my own standards, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know what the fuck to believe anymore about anything. It's yeah, it's that damn thing hasn't come up yet, which really sucks.
I'm not sure I can carry much more.
Moose. Like if I could kill the moose before I leave, that, well, fuck. Then I would have to come back a lot sooner for that fucking hide. But yeah, it's the moose spawning here. I've only had one playthrough. No, two. I've had two playthroughs where the moose spawned in this location. Alright, yeah, it's probably not best for me to be around here, so... Metal benders. Ron hates the... Jackass. Ugh. Alright, well... I'm not... No, I have enough guts, I have enough hides. I am doing something special. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna fucking leave at this point. I'm gonna spend one more day here, and if an Aurora pops, wonderful. I'll go over, talk to the trader, and fucking, you know, do my shit. Because the problem is the trade is still there. He hasn't picked it up yet. Wait a minute. Let me double check my fucking journal. I feel like I'm so off about something. Like this is really killing me. Oh, no. Like, I'm just... Nope, nope, nope. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't told him yet, so we haven't spoken. Fuck. Is there anything I can do? I guess I could sit and read this. Another fucking blizzard. How cold is it? Feels like 2 degrees. Well, it's in the middle of the day. It's not too bad. Oh, this is so frustrating. Yeah, the cabin. So basically, if you stay inside for too long, you get cabin fever, and then it makes it so you can't sleep indoors. So you have to sleep outside anyway. So here I am. Oh man. And it's like I'm looking at the time, and I guess I could hang out and I don't want to use the fire striker just yet. Oh, you suck. I'm basically just trying to kill time at this point. Like, I'm hoping that an Aurora pops. Because I think an Aurora did pop, but, like, I missed it. Like, right at the tail end. What we got? Should be enough. Make some extra water. Leave the water behind, so the next time I roll through. Oh, thanks for listening to my fucking nonsense. And yeah, I do think that the paranormal stuff it's an interesting because it's all connected back into the same shit that I was talking about. I'm just like my mind is like we all kind of have our avenues that we like kind of gravitate towards. And mine has kind of been like the more like making sense of the religious stuff. But I do feel like the more paranormal, the more esoteric spiritual stuff, like I think that all definitely plays a part into actually trying to make some cohesive sense of this reality in which we live. So this the Dean Radin dude I'm definitely going to check out. It's probably a good time for me to just kill the stream too. Just doing this for shits and giggles, just to focalize into the universe, but I think I can listen to this as I play this in the have something on in the background. But peace, love, happiness, all that jazz. I hope you're well, and let's both bounce the hell out of here. Oh, I already I keep drinking. Why do I need to drink anymore? Yeah, so I'm going to kill the stream. So, as always, in Miro, so glorious, beloved, Maze Valor.
signing off.